Ugh.
Okay, then. All right. uh, Brooke, by virtue of being further away, I want you to go first. For our listeners at home, introduce yourself, say who you are, where you are, and what you do, at least as much as you're willing to.
Sure. I'm an open book. My name is Brooke Johnston. I live in Chicago, Illinois. And I am a glorified project manager for an e-commerce company. So
Nice.
yeah, that's the spiel. Any other, I don't know, origin story things?
Well, no, I mean, we'll delve into that. I'm gonna ask you exactly what that means before long, but we're gonna introduce Amy first.
All right, cool.
I'm Amy Hamilton, and I am a marketing manager for an e-commerce company. Brooke and I basically do the same
Son
job.
of a bitch.
I know.
That's how we became friends. We met at my work, or our work, a long time ago. So, yep.
But you guys are at different companies now, right? Brooke, you moved to a different.
Yeah. In Chicago, and I'm here. And then, yeah, I was a fitness instructor, and I still am, I guess. I just have.
Yeah, you did a public post of a fitness instruction kind of thing where everyone could dance together, and you sent me an invitation and I didn't come.
No, it's okay.
I went to it. It was
don't come on now. Don't like lay into me for.
Who was a better friend?
Right. Clearly you are, without a doubt. I was trying, actually, I gave it enough thought that we were trying to figure out how to put a webcam on the TV so like my whole family could do it and watch other people doing it at the same time.
I'm going to do it again. Not this Monday because of the holiday, but I'm going to do it again.
What's the holiday Monday?
Memorial Day.
Oh, right. Okay. That's right. It is the end of the month already, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's another day for people to break the rules.
Yeah, let's get out and let's get out and picnic hard.
Let's get 2 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
2 inches.
Family members closely.
Right.
I think holidays mean no masks, right? That's what the rules are.
Except for Halloween.
There you go. Nice.
It was too easy.
It was.
So Amy, when you were on before, which has been a month and a half now, we decided what, March 30th? I have it written down. I'm pretending I'm guessing. March 30th. And it's funny, back then I asked you if you were going to do any of those online dance things and you said no.
Yes.
And you also said that your work had been not terribly adversely affected by, like, you were working from home, but it was still pretty much the same. Brooke, same deal? You just kind of the same job, just from home?
I am still working from home. I'm working so hard. I'm working harder than I ever worked at the office.
That's bullshit. No, I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm saying that it sucks, that it's bullshit, that you should be working harder at home.
Yeah, but I feel happier here.
Right.
Even though I'm a people person and I miss some things, work is going well, but I do work a lot more and a lot more hours, but I don't really have any distractions.
Right.
Maybe that's why.
So it's more hours and it's more productive hours too.
Yes.
Brooke, same experience?
Well, I already worked really hard when I was in the office.
Mm-hmm.
But as whenever I explain my job to anyone, I refer to it as an internet spreadsheet job. Because, at these big companies that sell things on the internet, we're all kind of doing the same stuff. But it's definitely busier now because the companies have to respond to this global pandemic in certain ways. I do not prefer working from home, but I do like waking up right before I have to go to video.
All right, there's some prep time that has been taken out of the equation.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I hate it, and I've definitely settled in more and gotten used to it, but I don't prefer it. I like the energy of others, and I found that when I'm working from home, the energy that I get is usually like a frantic Zoom call energy, and that's
It's not the same.
not the same. I like the chill office energy. I don't know.
Now, they understand you're in a significant minority and saying you'd prefer to go in.
I do understand that, but I also accept and am grateful that I don't have to, and I'm
Right.
like, I'll do this as long as it's the right thing to do.
Right. Right. Or as long as it seems necessary, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I actually got a call this week from my job asking when I would consider it safe to go in. And I said,
Mhm.
I don't know, ask me next month.
Nice.
You know, because it just doesn't seem, I don't know. I mean, are either one of you, both of you obviously were in circumstances where you did go in before all this happened. Do either one of you foresee, or have you already heard any rumors of pressure to return to go back?
Yeah, you
Brooke,
go.
you go first.
Well, no, my answer probably isn't as long either, because the answer is who knows. My work has like phases of returning, and I'm in the
Right.
last phase because I work downtown Chicago, where we can't control the building and who goes in it. It's a big building with a lot of companies, and
Right.
public transportation is a thing. And while I prefer being in the office and some things work better that way, we don't need to. We can do this just fine. So the answer is very vague, and it's like a sometime thing. I have a friend, our friend Mary Kate, she lives in Seattle, but she's not going back till October 1st. And I kind of suspect, like, for me, it'll be similar, but I don't know.
Right. And she's got that date already? Like her company's like, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just said a second ago that your company had already established some kind of phases. Amy?
We just got an email yesterday from our president, who is a very smart and nice lady, but it seems like
But
it seems like they are wanting, like, she's trying to be sensitive to everyone. She mentioned there's people who are feeling like this is a hoax and let's just start working again. And then there's also people who are kind of like me, who are just terrified to like catch it and, you know, don't want to be in public.
yeah,
And
regardless of the magnitude, yeah.
said, I guarantee you, both of those types of people work at where I work, and but we've decided that we work best in this building, and we have a huge building, so we're going to start bringing people back. But I don't know anything else other than that. But I was sort of, I panicked yesterday. I mean, I had a lot of anxiety just by getting that email. But like,
Yeah.
by acknowledging that there are people who think this is a hoax, like, that's exactly why I don't want to go, because I
Right.
don't want to share my space with them. So,
Sure. I mean, you could say what you will about the thought process that leads someone to that conclusion anyway, but you could just assume on the face of it that they're not going to take any of it seriously enough to be safe, you know?
and I don't, like, I normally don't care what anybody does. I love making bad choices, and I want everyone to make but,
Right?
like, it's a health issue, and I feel different about it because, one, I don't want to give it to people, but I'm by myself, and I want to get it. Because
Right.
I'll be, you know, like, I'm trying to be as responsible as I can, so I don't want to get it from somebody who's not taking it seriously. So I'm concerned. But
Yeah.
I don't have definite.
Yeah, and that's actually an interesting point you made. It's just like, you know, if you're going to be dismissive of it, I actually assumed over the last few weeks, erroneously it turns out, that kind of enlightened self-interest, I don't want to get it, would be enough for people to be smarter about things. But there's definitely a measurable portion of the population that either thinks that they're impervious or strong enough or whatever, or they're really that convinced it's some kind of hoax that there's no risk.
I don't know.
I thought self-preservation would come to the fore and people would be smart about it. And I guess they were for a minute, you know, for most of April, you know, and then they got what did we say? They got bored. They needed a haircut.
Yeah, and the weather got nice. Like, oh, that hair's too long. Sorry, I'm just adjusting for the light. thing.
I'm worried because Memorial Day is going to be a COVID shit show. I'll just call it.
Yeah.
Like June will be when we have to go back after like all these people have done whatever they want. And, you know, I have to make a living and I'll do what I can, but I assume it's not going to be like 40 hours a week in the office. There'll be some sort of schedule and they'll be sensitive to stuff. But yeah, I don't trust anybody other than people who are like my close friends and family.
Right.
So,
Which is, I mean, but not uncommon either.
yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, maybe that's the reason I've been working so hard and trying to be so productive is so they could be like, you know what? You don't need to go back, Amy, because you're
Right.
so good. But
There's
that's
a
not,
lot. Well, but there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, you could make that case.
yeah.
That's the case I'm going to make to my job is that I've had no diminishment of performance while I've
Yeah.
been here, and the gamble, however slight you might consider it, to my wife's pre-existing conditions to go back and forth is not worth it.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And I don't know. I mean, we'll just see what happens, but I'm nervous about it.
Well, I mean, right? I guess we all are. Brooke, let me ask you this: 2 weeks ago in Cincinnati, this last Saturday, so almost 3 weeks ago now, we had this really beautiful day.
Mhm.
Amy, you probably remember this. So it would have been, I guess, the first weekend of May, or maybe it was the last weekend of April, whatever. But we had this really beautiful day, and there was a lot of news coverage about people being out and going to parks, and we actually went to this social distance kids party at Devou Park. And the thing was is that I remember looking at the news that night and the next day about however many people were out and thinking, we're going to see an explosion over the next 15 to 20 days. There's going to be a big burst of cases because everybody was kind of flaunting the circumstances that weekend. And it hasn't really happened. I mean, you know, there's been the steady loss of life, thousands a day, which is, you know, obviously nothing to sneeze at and nothing to say it's all over. But to be fair, you know, Amy, you were talking about like, we'll wait till June when things start really going there. We haven't had the explosion yet. And while I kind of expect it to, how's it going to feel like a month from now if it stays sadly steady?
I mean, so Chicago's getting like let out the same time
Released
as
for good
yeah,
behavior.
we're getting let out June 1st. Like I'm not going back to work or anything, but it's stuff like you know, we're reopening restaurants, but you can only do it on the patio, or you can only eat on the patio, and servers will have to wear masks and social distancing. And actually, Amy and I were talking about this, or talking at each other about it via video chat last night. And I mean, I don't love this, but it's pretty easy for me to do it. I mean, I can work from home. I have my cross stitching and my shows that I like, and I can like easily get food and stuff, the things that I need. So like I can do it. And this like re-entering halfway, for me, it's more depressing than not. Like going back to normal, that'd be cool if we could just snap our fingers and things would be fine.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Like even a month from now, I don't want to sit at outside and have somebody serve me tacos and a margarita while they're wearing a mask.
Right.
And I'm like 6 feet away from friends or people that I know have also not been following the rule. Like some people out who've been playing rugby with each other in the park every day. So like I don't mind just being like chill at home and not like re-entering. I mean, I will get my hair done. But so I guess I'm the same. But for me, the halfway isn't good. It seems lame and creepy and weird. So I've kind of like accepted things aren't going to be normal or the same.
No.
And so in a month, if everybody's doing all right, that's great. And but it's still, yeah, I don't know. It's still not better.
Yeah. I would rather hang out, I mean, when we were talking at each other last night, but I would rather
I
hang
like
out
how you
in
guys keep saying at each other.
Nobody
Nobody listened. There was a lot of talking, but nobody listens.
I wasn't waiting for her response or responding to anything from her. I was just sending streams of consciousness.
Sure.
But I would rather hang out in my backyard or your backyard or her house with my friends. That's more important to me than going to a restaurant and hanging out with strangers and getting and it being creepy. I would rather have people over. If I'm gonna bend the rules or if things are gonna get back to normal, I'd rather do it that way versus going out in public and trusting people that I don't even know. I mean, we've all worked in restaurants.
Yeah.
We're all risk takers. We know.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just it sounds like we're saying the normal that we're going back to, choosing which, and everyone has to do that, right? We choose the normal that is important to us. And for some people, it is getting served by someone in a mask at a restaurant.
Right.
And for other people, it's sitting in a backyard with somebody. And so I'll take that risk by getting my hair done, and somebody else will take that risk a different way.
Yeah, I mean, that comes back to the self-preservation thing I was talking about before. I mean, everyone's got their own idea of what is and isn't important enough to gamble with, you know, and you know, the thing about the restaurants, and I've been talking about this a lot with people over the last few weeks, is that, you know, we're never going to be able to snap our fingers and go back to December, you know, or the way the world was in December, or even January. Everything's going to be changed permanently until there's some kind of vaccine or some kind of other groundbreaking thing that makes a big enough difference that the confidence is there. But the thought process is that there's so many parts of the economy that are integral to everything that are the service stuff, you know, restaurants and hair salons and that sort of thing. And the thought was that we have to get those things back to some kind of functionality just for the country to survive, just for the economy not to collapse and for there to be, you know, rioting in the streets or whatever the fuck your imagination could go for an economic collapse. And so I've been telling people, you know, we got to learn how to do it. This is creepy. And there's parts of it there's restaurants that aren't going to survive this minimum capacity thing.
And that's
sad.
They
just can't. I heard 3 out of 4 I don't know when I heard this or where I heard it, an article I skimmed, but I heard 3 out of 4 restaurants were going to close.
I love the sincerity of the phrase, an article I skimmed.
Let's be real. We're all just skimming articles.
Right. I saw this headline once that said.
Yeah.
No, I actually heard, it's funny you said that. I heard something on NPR. I remember it distinctly because it was the first week. It was the 3rd week of March, and the schools had just been shut down in Cincinnati. And there was some expert on there saying that any independently owned coffee shop, restaurant, bar that you know of right now is more likely than not to not exist after this is over.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I see it happening.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
I mean,
go ahead.
That is the thing that I and people that think about this struggle with, you know, I want to be contributing money to the people that, you know, whatever that industry is. So an example I'll use that's maybe more important to me or more relevant is I'm not yeah, I miss going to restaurants, but I cannot go to a restaurant, but I do really want to get another tattoo. And I also want to support those tattoo artists that I have been supporting for the last year.
Right.
And, you know, if people can't start going back to them, what are they going to do? But, you know, another thing that I think we can't solve, and we've all learned, is a lot of our systems are fucked. And we can't keep feeding our shitty paychecks to prop up a system that doesn't work. And I don't have the solution, and I have no control over anything, but yeah, sure, I can donate money to a tattoo artist I can't go to right now. And I can get takeout to try to put a dent in it, but my shitty paycheck is a drop in the bucket for a system.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing though. It's the thought process is universal change has to have universal behaviors. So I'm getting bad echo from something.
Is it me?
I don't know. Mute for a second, Brooke. Did you? Ah, it is you. Okay, but no, I was just, it's funny. I have conversations with Brian Driscoll all the time about the bullshit we're going through and what the ultimate problems are. And yeah, it is ultimately, it is a bullshit system. The fucking money first capitalistic ideal that propped this country up for the last century just is a fucking failure. It's a monumental fucking failure. And unfortunately, there's an even bigger problem ahead of that one, which is the fact that there's no way to have any kind of civil discourse in this country anymore about the problems we're facing and about the solutions for them, because we're so fucking miserably divided and in this weird place where people are either ensconced in this camp or another, and there's no communication between the two. There's a lot of bigger, it's kind of fucked up to look at it this way, but there's a lot of bigger issues than just this pandemic. And I guess the thought process is hopefully this pandemic might be enough to call enough light to them that people think about changing them. I don't know.
Yeah. Brooke and I are in a chat with another friend. It's called Good Neighbors because we are following the rules. But,
And was that, did Olivet object to you using the phrase good neighbor?
Here, she is not a good neighbor, but I am. But the other girl that's in our group pointed out Americans have such a sense of independence but no sense of community, and I think that's it's been highlighted for me. I always thought everybody would, I don't know, I try to be a good neighbor, and luckily my neighbors are good neighbors, but
right.
When you see there's people who would rather not be a good neighbor just to prove a point of your independence. It's really depressing, and I don't like thinking about it, but I've had to see it so often because of the situation.
And I think a lot of people, and I have a real hard time saying no, generally, but I think a lot of people just don't want to say no also. So I probably shouldn't go to this gathering, but we do it every year. Or my mom really wants to go to this restaurant, so it's Mother's Day. And so it's just easier to not say no, and I get it. But I knew someone who didn't want to be a killjoy. But you're not the killjoy. Coronavirus is the killjoy.
Right. That happened to me last week. Neighbor Paul Mace invited me to a grill out and said, Vince is in from out of town and Catkins would love to have us. And I said, I have no doubt that you guys are being smart about it. And, I hope you have a good time, but it's not worth the gamble for me right now. It's just not. It's too early. There's still too many variables.
And just for me personally, I have very good intentions. I may have gone to that barbecue because I'd be I have good intentions. I will follow the rules. But then I will drink alcohol and things. That's kind of my fear about going to these bars and being yeah, I'm going to social distance. But then you're going to go to the bathroom. You're going to have too much to drink. And people just make mistakes, including me. I'm basing all of my mistrust on people based on my own actions.
Right. Well, you said something about that before, and I meant to allude. You were I'm all about the bad decisions, but it's one thing to make bad decisions that affect only you.
Right.
It's another thing to make bad decisions that have the potential to affect everybody you come in contact with.
Right. And I don't mind making bad decisions as long as no one finds out about it.
I know.
As long as no one finds out about it. But I don't want to be the one that goes to the party and because of my bad decisions, everybody gets sick and it's
and half of them die. And by the way, I'm going to go ahead and belie you on this one, even though this is public and everything. You might be okay with bad decisions no one finds out about, but I promise you that either I or Brooke will hear the story.
Oh yeah. I met people I don't know.
This is a circle of trust.
I'll be let me tell Scott this. This is insane.
I can't count how many times I've been on the phone with you going like this.
I'm sure it works both ways.
Likewise.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, likewise. I might have filled up the kitty for a lot of years in the way back when, but now you have to hear like married stories and stuff. They're not anywhere near as interesting.
No.
Bad decisions are just on a different scale.
Yeah.
Right. They are. They are. I elected not to give her breakfast in bed on Mother's Day.
That does sound like a very bad decision.
I didn't make that one. That happened. Trust me, that happened. There was breakfast in bed on Mother's Day.
Nice. I mean, there are no excuses now not to, right? Like, what other plans do you have? What are you doing?
I know, right? We were talking about that tonight. That's the thing too, is it's like, Amy, I was really glad that you started doing the dance thing online thing, because me and Christina were talking about it. It's just like, it's so easy to fall into this morass of like not knowing what day it is, deciding to drink at 11 o'clock, letting the kids sleep in no matter what. Today was the first day of summer. So we had ice cream for breakfast. Traditionally, we have ice cream for breakfast the first day of summer. 5-0 didn't even get out of bed. Elliot came down, and her and I had half bowls of ice cream at lunchtime. It's just like things are kind of, we were talking about how it's important to have like things to, the job is one thing, but it's important to have things that you're doing.
I have been taking a lot of dance classes that I've really enjoyed. The reason why I decided to try to teach one is because I know gyms are opening up, and I don't want to go back to the gym. So I would like to get this started before, I'm not going to go back to LA Fitness. I don't trust them. They do not have people's health in mind, but I also don't want my students to go back. So I would rather do something free, or donation based, but like people, so they don't feel like they have to go to the gym, because I don't want to go, and I don't want anybody I care about to go.
Right.
I don't have the right decision. So like, what can I do? So that's why I did it, just because, and it was super fun, but it's just like, well, I don't have that much control over a lot of things. I've made some math, and I can offer a fitness class. So I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. This is what I just heard. I don't have control over a lot of things, so I made some meth, and I'm running a dance class.
I made
math. Okay.
Math, and I taught a fitness class. I'm gonna take care of my dog. You guys talk about stuff.
You got to talk amongst yourselves. She made some meth, and then,
I mean, whatever we have to do to get through this.
Right? Without a doubt. I have drank a hell of a lot more than I used to.
I've drank less than I used to, which.
Really? Good for you. Well, and also you wish you were going into the office. You're like Miss Opposite time over there.
Well, yeah, but I also, I think we're all on a different change curve, and this stuff manifests differently in different people. So like, some nights I stay up till 4 a.m.
Regardless if it's a school night or not?
Yeah. So I sleep way less than but I'm still fine. It's like a low level of mania, and like, I don't know, my depression is manifesting in mania and insomnia, but
right.
But I was talking to a friend last night, Mary Kate, who Amy knows, but like,
this is the third reference to her. I'm going to have to dig her up.
Wow. I just talked to her yesterday. Yeah. I just talked to her yesterday, and not that much happens. So literally any conversation you have is like, I got to talk about this. But to that point, because every day is kind of the same and time is less meaningful, and you don't do that much, like, it takes a lot more to make you feel something. So like with drinking, I found with drinking and with I'm drinking right now and it's fun, but I don't get the same joy out of like snacks and drinking as I used to, because when it was in company. Yeah, or like I need something else to make me feel something, because I'm used to the feelings that I get from snacks and drinking. So like now I'm really into cross stitching, and that's something new. So it is like something for my brain to feel like a spark over. I don't know. Yeah.
No, but I remember. Yeah. I remember conversations when I was a teenager with my friends saying, you can't make doing the acid the actual activity. It's something that you do with an activity. Like you have to be going to a concert or a camping trip.
Yeah.
You can't just say, hey, what are you doing Saturday? Acid. No, you have to say, I'm going camping or to concert and doing acid. The drug just can't be the activity alone. You know,
Right.
what are you doing tonight? I'm drinking. No, you're watching some TV and maybe having a beer or two. The drug can't be the activity.
Well, and a thing that comes with drinking that is fun is like making a bad decision. So
right,
like,
and that those are limited in your own home.
yeah. So like I need some, something else, I guess. I'm used to, if I had a bad day or if I want to, exercise some emotions, I'll be like, I'm going to get drunk and then make a bad decision.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I guess I'll get drunk and then have a problem falling asleep. So I guess I just won't do it.
I mean, you could always do things like get drunk and, I don't know, throw the TV out of the second story.
That's true. But then I'd have to wait for Best Buy to do a contactless
shit.
delivery.
Contactless TV delivery. Because there's this show you want to watch. What are you doing tomorrow night? Well, I was going to be drinking, but now.
The other night was like, I think maybe it was Monday or Tuesday. This was like my peak quarantine. And I realized, oh shit, this is not normal, but there's no way out of this for me. So I'm just going to lean into it. So I had like been up super late the night before. And then I worked all day. And then I went for a run at like 9 p.m. And then I stayed up until like 4 again, watching old YouTube videos of All My Children, the old soap opera. And like, then I woke up at 7 and was like, well, I'm doing this again. It's just really leaning into the weird, not normalness of it all.
So you go 72 hours, sleep 3 of them, and fill 18 of them with old episodes of All My Children.
Yeah, that's life now, I guess.
I mean, whatever it takes, I guess.
Well, I was talking to somebody about like my brain just is not like every day I see the same things, and so my brain doesn't get tired. Because I'm used to being like annoyed by somebody on the train or like feeling joy about something that happened. But now it's just this like very flat. So my brain doesn't get exercise enough. I don't know.
Maybe
That's
it's a physiological response to avoid stagnation.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, because what's going to happen is you'll reach a point where lack of sleep will make you hallucinatory. And then you'll have to switch the pattern again to adjust for that.
I need to create my own drama, and that's what it is. I'm used to like creating some outside of the home or having it created, but that's my way of creating drama now.
I mean, I guess it beats affecting other people. I don't know. Maybe there's a cottage industry here. Maybe there's a lot of people out there like yourself who we could, the 3 of us together, maybe with Mary Kate too, we could put together this circumstance where we could create artificial drama for people shut in. Like we could send them a package that's with a photo in it that this is your real father and a bunch of stuff about.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm
Experience only virtually and personalized.
Yeah.
Idea.
in.
I bet somebody out there will buy it.
Well, as Amy and I've talked about, being shut-in solo is a little bit different. I mean, we all have our shut-in struggles, but it's a different level of like mania, maybe.
Yeah. I don't honestly. I mean, Amy, you've known me a long time. I've always been a super social animal, and I have a hard time even imagining what this would be like if it was just me. You know, I'm not sure I wouldn't like lose it a little bit, or maybe a lot even.
You have similar personalities, and I think from my experience, you just get used to it because you have to.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. What's the alternative?
Send a bunch of video chats to people, and what you need to do. Yeah, I keep telling. Well, Brooke and I talk about this sometimes, but I just keep telling myself like, well, this is not my time. So like things suck, but this is not my time. I've had other times that were amazing, and I will have other times that are amazing.
Right.
So right now, I just gotta fucking get through it.
Weather it.
Yeah.
And
I got 2 dogs and a whole big house and the internet. So it's not that hard.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine going through this back when there were 3 TV channels and a wired phone only?
No.
I mean, I guess we wouldn't know what we were missing, but that sounds horrible.
No.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do remember not having cable and being poor and having no air conditioning and watching like Pensacola Wings of Gold, because that was with James Brolin, for like every Saturday for years in the 90s. So I remember it was terrible, and I'm so glad it's not like that now.
Pensacola Wings of Gold.
Ugh.
I would probably like it. Ugh.
I have no frame of reference whatsoever.
I don't know. Whatever shit was on channel 64 is what I had to watch, because
Right.
it was like, I got
Wings.
64, 19, 5, 9, and 12.
Yeah.
Ooh. If you can remember clicking that knob over and going from like 5 to 9 to 12 to 19, we all remember that.
Yeah.
Scott, I remember you told me once when I lived downtown, I guess we both lived downtown, but you were like, it was when they had like police car chases. That was the only reality TV, but
That's
it was
right.
on. We're like, someday it's only going to be reality TV.
Yep.
They're not going to pay people to write stuff. And I was like, that's insane. There's no way. You're so wrong. And then look what fucking happened.
Hey, listen, I'm about to get cut off, and I don't want it to be in the middle of something. Thank you guys very much for doing this. Brooke, you'll do it again sometime, won't you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Rabbit's Foot, we got to have a fire pit soon.
Sounds good.
We'll wear masks or whatever.
Yeah.
Have a great night, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.